Hello, everybody. I'm Rahim Mescalai, and this is episode 9 of 413 Sports Talk. Quick episode today. I have my Big Ten bracket reveal. We've got some updates from local sports. As you know, my segment called 32 and 16 continues. Today we go over the AFC South. I'm going to go over the Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, and some more random updates. So as I have alluded to before, this is going to be a very quick episode. Episode 9 starts now. We're going to get into some updates from local sports. Not too much in the way of scores. What I do have for you is some news. Chicopee Pacers guard Damian Ocasio scores his 1,000th career point in his final game as a Chicopee Pacer. Shouts to you, Damian. I don't know what you're going to do with your future as far as college or trying to go pro, but whatever it is that you choose to pursue, us at 413 Sports Talk, we want to say congratulations and wish you all the love and best of luck going forward. On high school basketball for the women, the girls, the Wacona Warriors, are undefeated right now, an impressive 17-0. And they still have games scheduled. So anybody who's playing the Wacona Warriors need to watch out. Specifically Taconic, but we'll leave that for a different comment, another conversation. Some other updates I want to bring to your attention with COVID-19 happening. I think we can all understand that high school sports last year took a big hit. So I'm pleased to let you know that the Springfield Central Golden Eagles had their first padded practice. You know, I was a little upset because, as you know, how the NFL season ended with my Packers losing the way we did because of the refs, and Tom Brady winning that Super Bowl. It was historic. I'm not gonna take that from him. He is the GOAT, but definitely left a sour taste in my mouth every time I think about it. But it is what it is. Next year, it's always a next year. So, shouts to the Central Golden Eagles. They had their first padded practice of the season. Let's hope that none of their games get canceled by COVID, because there are a lot of programs that got bothered by COVID-19 this season. So that's what I got for you for local sports and updates. Let's move on to 32 and 16. First, as we get into this, I am getting ready to break down the AFC South. For the most part, the AFC South was a competitive division. Last year, the Texans and the Jaguars were obviously the basement dwellers of the division. Colts and the Titans, respectively, made the playoffs. The Titans were the AFC South champions. So it was good for both franchises. The Colts, I'm not sure what they're doing. Every year, it's a different quarterback. A quarterback whose either skills are diminished or is washed up. Phillip Rivers retired this past year. You know, he was all right at times, but you know, like the normal Phillip Rivers, there are also games in which he sometimes throws 3 and 4 interceptions, and they're stupid throws too. He misjudges his arm talent, to say the least. So, you know, Phillip moved on. They recently traded with the Philadelphia Eagles to acquire quarterback Carson Wentz. So it's going to be interesting to see what Frank Reich could do with Carson Wentz, if that relationship that they had back in Philly has a spark, and maybe Carson Wentz does something with his career. I don't know, not too confident, but anyway, so we're going to start with the Titans. Titans won the AFC South at 11-5. They were in first place. So, one thing I want to say about the Titans, they have a shaky defense that got exposed a few times last season. Once when they played in Indianapolis, it was a very close game. Titans also gave up over 40 points and over 100 rushing yards to my Packers. as we won that game 42-17 in the 2020 season. So there are a couple holes. I think they definitely in free agency in the draft could try to improve on the defensive line, so to speak. I know it's a passing league, but then again, they're in the AFC. They're in the AFC South. There's not too many wide receiver threats, as we all know. DeAndre Hopkins got traded to the Arizona Cardinals. So in the AFC South, there's not too many wide receivers that you have to worry about. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do, if they do it through free agency or the draft. One thing I do want to point out about them is they consistently, year after year, have a great offensive line, and that translates to Derrick Henry and what he's able to do on the ground, the stiff arms. More importantly, when Derrick Henry runs through the middle, he's like pretty much unstoppable. Over 5 yards a carry when he does that. But Derrick Henry he's a beast, and that's direct credit to the offensive line. So I think his success comes from the offensive line, and it's remarkable to see that year in and year out that they bring their production is consistent year in, year out. Derrick Henry goes over 1,400 yards a year, and that's credit to the offensive line. So that's one of their good points. They released Malcolm Butler just the other day. Not sure exactly why that move was made, though I could hint at lack of production. And there were a couple times last season when Malcolm Butler was healthy, but he didn't start. He was on the sideline a lot. And that's very confusing when you see a player who's clearly not injured, just on the sidelines, not playing, and considering the fact that he signed such a large contract in free agency, leaving the New England Patriots to go to the Tennessee Titans. That raises eyebrows a lot too. One area that I believe that the Tennessee Titans need to step up is at wide receiver. Chris Davis, and whoever they have back there needs to step it up. They need to be more reliable targets for Tannehill this year. I think Tennessee needs to add something besides for the we're just going to run it down your throats every time with Derrick Henry. I think we all know that's coming. 3 out of the 4 downs a drive. So I think Tennessee needs to get a little more consistency with the passing game. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what exactly they do and how exactly they're different, because teams know Derrick Henry's going to run it down their throats. One thing I think that they'll not be prepared for is when Brown comes back and he's healthy. Chris Davis contributes. And I think Tennessee needs to, in this draft, acquire another defensive back. I have them at the end of the first round taking Zaven Collins, that kid out of Tulsa. A couple of people think he's going to go top 10. I think that's a bit rich. So yeah, they need help in the secondary. I think outside linebacker is going to get taken care of in the draft when they get Zaven Collins. I think he fits. What they're trying to do defensively over in Tennessee. So it's going to be something to see. Maybe some help off on the defensive line too. On the back end of having such a great rushing attack, they got smoked and exposed a couple times. Aaron Jones going over 125 yards in the Packers game. So it's definitely an area the Titans need to improve. And the Packers weren't the only team who they let up a lot of rushing yards to. Don't want to seem biased here. Go Pack, go. I love my squad. I don't care. Next, part of 32 and 16, we turn our sights on the Indianapolis Colts. Philip Rivers retired in the offseason. They acquired Carson Wentz from the Philadelphia Eagles in a trade. Not sure how that's going to work out. I'm not too confident in Carson Wentz. I'm not sold on him as a player. I think he has inconsistent footwork. He doesn't make correct reads, even on the second and third levels as a quarterback when you're processing after the snap. So it's always one thing. So those are always things about Carson Wentz that I've felt were a problem. So the Colts have a very inconsistent offense. They need more. They need to support. They need more support around the quarterback. Quarterback being Carson Wentz. A decent running back. And they have an offensive line that they've grown throughout the draft with multiple first round picks over the last half decade or so. I just think they need a star. They need a star. Who they have on offense, it's too predictable. There's not anybody that wows you. Not anybody that is a game wrecker or coverage has to get adjusted and pushed over to the side for. So I think they need a playmaker. They need a playmaker. Carson Wentz is not the answer. They need something more than that. On the other side of the ball, I think defensively they don't have many holes. Maybe the secondary. You could pick on the secondary, but the front seven are damn good. They're studs. Especially that linebacking core, fastest linebacking core in the NFL. And that's with 40 times and watching film and making judgments like that. Any another piece on the offensive line, and then the draft or free agency, I think they could get an edge rusher. Example, Gregory Rousseau, the defensive end from the University of Miami Hurricanes. It's going to be that's who I predict. That's who I predict to land to the Colts in the end of the first round. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. So that, folks, is 32-16. For episode 10, I'll be covering the rest of the AFC South. The last two teams we have are the Texans and Jaguars. The Texans don't know what they're going to do with Deshaun Watson, and we know the Jaguars have hired Urban Meyer as their head coach. Urban Meyer doesn't do background checks on his coaching staff. And they have the number one pick in this year's NFL draft, whom they are projected to take quarterback from Clemson, number 16, Trevor Lawrence. We'll see how that goes. Moving on, the Big Ten tournament. I have filled out my bracket. So the 2021 Big Ten champion I predicted was to be Wisconsin. A lot of people think that the championship tournaments don't matter. I think they matter a whole bunch. The top 32 teams in the championship series are automatic qualifiers for the March Madness tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. So I predicted Wisconsin to win. Here's my Big Ten bracket. Up here you'll see a blank space. I forgot to fill in Northwestern. And Northwestern's going to run into Ohio State. And Ohio State's going to end up beating Purdue. Sorry, that wasn't filled out either. Big Ten bracket, you see the 2021 Big Ten champion, Wisconsin. It's backwards because of the way the camera. I'm sorry for that. There's that bracket. So what do I have for you left? A couple of updates. Duke withdraws from the ACC tournament amid COVID-19 and a positive test. I feel bad for them. Coach K, he struggled a lot. That program, that whole conference has struggled a lot with games being canceled, players being sick, coaches being sick, players going outside the guidelines of the bubble and what it means to stay quarantined. So I have a lot of prayers for that program, and I really hope to pick it up. The Buffalo Bills inside linebacker Matt Milano to a 4-year extension worth $44 million. And one of that is guaranteed. So shouts to Matt Milano for getting paid. Top seeded NC A&T North Carolina A&T out of the MEAC tournament amid a positive coronavirus test as well. Some other news in the MLB: the first baseman for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Yasiel Puig, accused of sexual assault. A couple stories I've read involving this, they're all pointing fingers to him. Looks guilty. I hope not. I pray that he gets through this. I pray that there's justice, first of all, because if he did it, there are victims involved, and the victims are the ones that need to be concerned and thought about first. So, Yasiel, if you did it, you're guilty. You deserve to go to jail. If not, I hope you get through this issue. Stay away from people that bring you drama. Just focus on sports. Some NFL news. Wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster informs the Pittsburgh Steelers that he will be leaving via free agency. That's going to be huge. I know probably of 25 teams out of the 32 that could use a wideout. It's going to be interesting to see who grabs him. Nobody's made any noise yet. But I will keep you posted. I will keep you posted with updates in regards to Juju Smith-Schuster and where he might land. Nothing so far. Houston Texans sign former Saints and Baltimore Ravens running back Mark Ingram to a 1-year deal. Mark's at the end of his career as a former Ohio State running back. Was a very solid player for the Saints and the Ravens, and I'm excited to see what he does with the rest of his career and how he's going to help contribute to Houston, or if this was just like a year just to grab some money before he retired. I don't know. Shouts to you, though, for inking that deal and still staying in the league. Among the Broncos and the Panthers being landing spots for where disgruntled Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson might land, Deshaun has stated just a week ago that he is willing to sit the entire season if he is not traded. Houston, get rid of Deshaun. He clearly doesn't want anything to do with you guys as a franchise anymore, and you're just continuing to let a player who you guys ruined and you guys pissed off spread those kind of vibes and that toxicity within the franchise. I don't blame him at all for the way he feels. That's the Houston Texans brass fault. So, Deshaun Watson, I really hope you get it together. I think Deshaun could fit well in San Francisco. I think he would like that team. He would give that team a spark. They've been collecting wide receivers in the first round the last 2 years in the draft. Their defense that was full of studs kind of like slowed down. They got holes, released Richard Sherman. So I think there's a couple more pieces. I think they need to get rid of Garoppolo. But other than that, I think Deshaun will look best in burgundy and gold. So that's what I have for you. This is episode 9 of 413 Sports Talk. I am Raheem Escalay. We are also on YouTube too, so make sure you do not forget to like, subscribe, and go check out my episodes over there on YouTube. Any questions, comments, critique, did I get something wrong, or anything, any subject or topic sports that you would like me to cover, please let me know, and I'll be glad to do it. Again, I'm Raheem Escalay. This is episode 9 of 413 Sports Talk. Have a great day and stay blessed.